karibuni sana, let's engage. You can ask as many questions as you want, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. So, yeah. For newcomers, maybe just a rundown of who we are, what we do, where we are located, and our contacts. We are Cameras Africa, the largest distributors of photo and video equipment East Africa. And we deal in everything: photography, gaming, printers, lighting, sound, basically all your photo and video equipment. And we are located along Kenyatta Avenue in Nairobi CBD near Sarova Stanley, right next to Art Cafe. So ukiwa tu tao, kama unajua penye Sarova Stanley iko, we are like 4 shops away. And yeah, karibu sana. And for people outside Nairobi, we always do deliveries. Outside Nairobi takes at least 24 to 48 hours before you purchase your item. Within Nairobi, it is same day delivery. Please note, delivery is always an extra cost, depending on where you are. Hatufanyi free deliveries. Oops, sorry. But yes, deliveries we do across countrywide. And also we have a website. If you have many inquiries ama unataka kujua everything that we have in stock, just check our website. Our website ni www.camerasafrica.com. On our website, you'll see all pictures, specification, prices, and deeper specs on each and every item that you're interested in. So yeah, sit, watch, relax, and enjoy. At this point, I'm just entertaining you guys. So, iko wapi remote yai to tilt TV kidogo. So yeah, keep joining guys. Karibuni sana. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Today our topic is live streaming. We are doing hands-on on all the equipment that you need, like the basic equipment that you need to do live streaming. And we have a super guest in the building, the baddest when it comes to sound and live streaming. So keep those questions in mind. Ukiwa na any swali regarding live streaming, if you've been wondering what you need to do live streaming, that is equipment-wise, software-wise, if you need something that is wireless, wired, microphones, all that, we are going to talk about all that today. So yeah, stay tuned and enjoy the streaming. We okay? No, tuko sawa. Mimi niwe nangojea sasa alafu.
This is an output. No, we want an input. We want it on an input. Weke kwa input. Because we want what is being shown here to be there. So that whatever we are saying, what was square and what are we doing?
Iko sawa?
Unaipata? You have it, eh? Simeka? Okay. Single, that is okay. Because you are using 69, 16. That's the way you want it to be, eh?
can make one
Iko live on nini hapa? TikTok. TikTok uko ndani. Naona from here. Iko na how many people? Sawa. niko nayo.
Sauti yake?
Sawa sasa.
Ama kwa sababu ya hapa kwanza, although it's very important whatever we are saying goes to the other people. That is, I have been doing video production, editing and everything. And then I transited to broadcast integration, which involves right from licensing of a TV station all the way to going live. I also do events, live stream, displays, video conferencing and all those. So my experience in all this field with all those equipments is something that even if you call me when you have a problem, most of them I can tell you without even going through your equipment, because I have gone through them. I've burnt my fingers and sometimes I have fallen and in all those I learned so many of those tricks of solving problems Actually, let me not use the word tricks because it looks magical, but I have found many solutions, and I can really tell you what works here and what works there. So, in today's wonderful day, we are going to talk about live stream, and I will try to bring out, because you need to understand what it is, where it came from, and even the difference between what you see a TV OB van doing and what live stream, the difference. Okay? You need to get that bit. So, live stream, I have my whatever here. And live stream refers to live broadcast or live transmission of an event in real time to the viewers. Okay? Real transmission. It's in real time. Like the way now I'm talking, whoever is watching this, wherever he is, whether he's in India, whether he's in Australia, Japan, Russia, wherever, whatever I'm doing, he is involved and can be able, you know, he's hearing what I'm saying and whatever I'm doing. So it's a real time. Okay? In production, we have two different sets. There is the production, which has to go through the process of editing, storage or distribution via either the usual storage devices like, for those who are older than me, tapes, and I have been there in tapes, DVDs, CDs. Then today we have flash, we have the cloud storage, and even the distribution that we have right now. You just sent a link and I download the video you have sent me, or even upload to our social media platforms. Okay? So that is a video which was shot within the controls of a cameraman. It was edited slowly, okay, beautified and everything, and then it was uploaded, all saved for your purpose or whoever it was meant to go to. So that is the first bit. Then now there is the live transmissions. Live transmission, whatever you are generating via your video camera is directly being consumed on the other end. It's a kitchen, you are cooking tea here and somebody is there. Probably, I don't know how you can do it because tea is hot, and you are drinking it there and there. Okay? So those are the two big differences, live and production. In normal production, so live stream, if I may bring something here, there is something I want to show you so that we can now start sailing. What you see here are two a production studio. It connects to a dish which somebody calibrated the vectors etc so that it can be able to connect to the satellite, and when the feed is sent to the satellite, it comes back to their main studio where it is processed. So there will be a bigger delay because there are several things that happens. There is number one, there is a legal delay. You cannot send a live video directly to people. You have to delay it so that in case somebody says something which is against or violates the law, you chop it and continue. I don't know whether you know that. There is also the graphics. There is also ensuring that the audio is good and everything. So those processes, so that now from the studio, it is distributed to your TVs. And if they have a social media platform, nowadays every one of them have, it goes to social media platforms. But you should remember, whatever that was going to TV, it was a one-off. When the TV stops, if you had not watched, you have to hear our stories. Okay? We have to be your historian. We have to tell you, do you know he said? Do you know he sat? Do you know he fell? Okay? That is what we call broadcast transmission. You see how different, and it is very expensive. Per hour connection, I think at this moment it's around $2,500 per hour. 2,500 connection to satellite. They are being billed $2,500 per. Do you know how much it is in Kenya shillings? It's cool money. For me, I'm a Kikuyu, I can buy a piece of. So it's damn expensive. When you talk of expensive, this one is expensive. But you know the big guys have money. They have to possess the big guns. We have to possess the little guns. But they all shoot. Okay? And we all end up becoming like, I'm small, you are big. You can do nothing to me because of live stream. Live stream, simple. Capture the video. By the way, video, when we use the word video, video comes out of the two components of visual and audio. It's video, audio. Video, audio. So when we use the word video, we are implying video, that is visual, and audio. So here, our system comes from video, that is a video camera, goes to something called an encoder, and a compressor, and then connection between these to the platforms is via internet. This was via satellite. Small delay. So that is the internet connection. Okay? You see that? There is camera or audio, and audio goes to an encoder, goes via internet. Everybody will watch you. Whatever it is, but that is the way. So that is what we have in. So let us go to now something, because we have short time, I don't want to dwell on so many things. So when we say that there is a camera, cameras, we have many cameras. My laptop has a camera, your phone has a camera. We have this type, the type of cameras that you normally sell. That is a camera, okay? Number two, we have something called an encoder. An encoder is an equipment that will receive your video, package it. Packaging is called compression, okay? It's packaged in a smaller size or whichever size you want. Then it is converted into a digital file, which is the process of encoding. And then it is distributed. Now, the guy who receives on your phone is doing a process called decoding. You get? There is encoding, there is decoding. So whenever you open a video, there is an application which will do the decoding process. Okay? Are we somewhere? So get that right. Huh? So cameras, we have types of cameras. We have smartphones. but I have a mic which is giving my video audio. Okay, so you get that. The second thing is the software and hardware encoders. We have different softwares and hardwares for encoding. The most popular of them all, we have OBS, vMix, we have Wirecasts, okay? And all that you are seeing there, there are many. I don't want to keep on, compressor. Because the process of saving your video on an SD or a memory is actually a process of compression and encoding. But the process of sending it into the internet is different, but it is equally an encoder. Okay? It's an encoder. So some cameras, like you have a camera here, like the Z90 can be able to transmit directly. I think even Z280 Sony can be able, Canon, there are some Canon cameras which can do that. That is, you acquire a visual and audio and send it directly to your live stream. We have an encoder also. But it takes a gap of two equipments. It's an encoder and also a mixer, video mixer. Okay? We have a 10 mini, it's an encoder, and also it is a mixer. AV Matrix 2 has those type of equipments and many others. Okay? So after the camera, we go to the encoder. Now, after that, now we go to the platform of your choice, depending on your needs and the targeted clients or target. Okay, even YouTube you can do that, but it's bigger in another way. So you make a choice depending, okay? That is whatever, that is platforms, okay? Another part of video live streaming is your service provider connection. Service provider now here in Kenya, we have limited choices. The most powerful and stable is Safaricom and Airtel, followed by Starlink coming in. Yeah, we are yet to fully test. We are just, trying to see what do they have, what can they have. We are just looking at them because they will provide also. One, I want just to go directly to this is the brief history of live streaming, but for now let's just leave it, see it, forget it. Started in 1990, became very, very popular from 2000 upwards, and by 2012 other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, etc. came in to start doing live streaming because they could not resist. This is like a flood. You cannot resist a flood when you are on its pathway. Okay? And it has given people big and powerful tools. I worked in a media representative office, and then to get an advert was a big issue, and it used to cost so much. To get a TV station to do a live for you, it was a big deal. And it used to cost a lot of money. And they were so arrogant. You could book, pay, but that day the president is having a very special occasion. They cancel your live. They go there. Even nowadays they do that. But now they don't have any option. When you pay them, they have to decide to earn your money. Then it was the issue of president fall, but it was only one TV station, and it was a big deal to have a live. Now, this day, because of live stream, you don't need them. Because even anyway, they are within only one simple little geographical area, Kenya, and probably maybe Nairobi, because then TVs were in towns. Nowadays, when you stream, anybody, if you have an interesting thing, or rather something which interests the whole globe, they can watch you. They can sit down and watch you wherever they are because of live stream. So it's a wonderful platform. It's a wonderful service. Okay? So that's a brief history. I don't want to go growth. There are reasons I don't want. Do you want? These are some of the reasons. Live stream broadens your audience. Okay, it gives you an audience that you may never have gotten before. If, for example, you had an advert in one of our TV stations, probably it's within a certain locality. But here, when you have an advert, it's going wherever, all over the world. Okay, anybody interested in whatever you are producing can view it. Another wonderful thing is engagement. Prior to this, if you sent your program to TV station, you had to involve a company can ask questions. People can talk to you via chats. So you are already connected to your viewers. TVs could not give you that. Even for the advertisers, it was not there. Cost effective, I've told you live, the other live cost 1 hour, 2.5. And let me tell you, when you give them jobs, they connect to you. When their time is over, that's all. You okay? So it is seriously cost effective. I need only some 200 shillings to live stream. 200, Bob. And the equipments, which it's one of convenience, analytics, you get analysis so fast. Okay? This, I will leave you to do it, because if we go through them, you can see percentage of people who have watched, liked your video. You can be able to see that is now the engagement, and even getting the feedbacks. Okay, you can be able to know who watched. You can be able to gauge which targeted group which you reached, so that you can beautify or make your product much more accessible to that group. Because whoever watches your video will tell you who is within this. Today, I was browsing something. I didn't come with my car. And when I was browsing, one of the guys saw me browsing something, and he said, "Are you in production?" I told him, "Yes, we have a problem." It is in a matatu. Okay? That is how things are happening. Okay? So, that is a percentage of people who have been watching. How can I live stream? So simply, just as I said, to live stream, you need a camera. You need an encoder, which could probably be a software device or whatever. A platform, an internet connection. Those are the basics. Actually, this is all you need. Even if you have a phone, your phone has an encoder software, and you can stream directly. Okay? All you need is some internet. You buy those data bundle, the 20 bob, you stream and say whatever you want. Now, the question comes here. What is the difference between the likes of Zoom, Google Meet, and Livestream? Zoom, Google Meet, etc. are like video calls. They are actually video calls. If I make a call to you, I will be talking to her, but not to these other guys. Okay? I'll be talking to her all the other guys will not know what you are talking about. Probably they will see her laugh, probably say yes or no, or get angry, whatever, but it is between us, okay? So video calls are calls, and they are private. It is only an addition of video. I'm seeing her. When she gets angry, I can see her. When she's happy, I can see her. If she has something she wants to show me, let's say she wants to show me, oh, Mr. Sam, there is a new whatever, it's here. I will see everything. It's a video call. It's a private connection. So it's that different. Live stream is public. Do you get that? Live stream is public. Video conferencing, which the application like Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, all those things, they fall in that category where you want to address a certain group in some privacy. So get that right. And they have some little differences, or rather, not little, but when you are asked, what can we do, what equipments do we need for Zoom meetings, they have some difference, okay? They have some difference. Are you getting that? Because it is, we are talking. I need to hear you, you need to hear me. I need to see you, you need to see me. But in live stream, I'm just sending pap and forgetting who is on the other side, but I'm concerned who it is, okay? So now, this is what I had said: cameras, encoders, social media platforms, how to choose all these. These platforms are kind of, they have their groups. Nowadays, I hear young people say that, oh, are you still on Facebook? Because I don't know every group watches something, okay? I don't know TikTok, there is X. I see most politicians are on X. Yeah? So if I want to hit them hard, I go on X and say, Nyinyi, watu mnafanya. And you see, if I want, you see there is a LinkedIn. I sometimes get confused with the word. If I want that, I am targeting people with professions. Okay, professionals, people with a career. I want an accountant. I can stream there and get all the accountants, okay? Because it's much more easier hitting directly on your target rather than going generally whoever. It will take you long to grow if it is a business, okay? So you have to evaluate what group are you looking at, age-wise, career-wise, okay? Gender, geographical, because again there is geographical. And there are some places people don't watch this. They have different things. Like in China. Okay? They don't have this. In some countries already they have blocked some of those because they are using their own. So you got to understand all that. And I say thank you for that first one. So we can now move to equipments. Okay? As I said, one thing I want to tell you is that cameras, we had cameras in every transition. Let me start that. In every transition from one technology to the other, everybody will always be caught unawares. Or rather, they will be caught trying to understand what is happening. I was there when they announced the change from the normal TV stations to digital stations. And the impact never seemed to be so big. But it is so big now because everybody can start his own TV with a simple laptop. A simple laptop. You can be your own broadcasting station, provided you have good content. You see, because of that change, it caught many unawares. It caught up so much of their investment, and some of them got stranded because you had invested billions, but now they have become obsolete because of a new technology. So in our today's change to live stream, there are several things that have happened. Our cameras were only for recording and outputting via either HDMI, SDI, or all the RCA cables. But now, this same camera can be able to stream. Okay, so we are going to go through some of those streaming equipments so that you can first of all understand. First, I'm going to open a software encoder so that I can inform you some things that happened. This is a vMix software encoder, and also it is a switch. It is a switch. Okay? One big thing, I don't know who will be timing me. One big thing about the encoder, number one, is video input. Video input. You need your video from the camera to go into your encoder. Okay? For those people who have cameras which cannot be able to stream directly, what we normally use to get the video in is something called a capture card. Okay? So if, for example, you have a laptop, you have a camera, but the camera does not have a USB video output, your camera does not have a streaming capacity or capability, like Kina Z90, all those, you need to capture your video into your laptop. Okay? So that is where now a capture card comes in. It becomes the bridge between the camera, so you don't need to throw your older camera. It is still there worthy. So that is where the capture card comes in. You use a capture card to capture your feed from the camera into your laptop. And what is the transition? The video comes either via HDMI or SDI, and then it exits as an USB cable into your laptop. So before we go further with the capture, one of the main things that you need to do before you start live streaming is first of all understand your connection, your internet connection, because that is a major thing. Before even you get your feed, if you don't know what is available in your connection, you will have trouble. So normally what we do when we go either in a place where we want to stream, the first thing we do is do a test on what is available. How do we do it? What we normally do is test our feed. I need connection. So we do a test. And normally the test that we do is how much bandwidth do we have. And the bandwidth that we normally are after is the upload speed. Okay? Upload speed. In live stream, there are terms that you will never cease to not, they will always be there, the bit rate. Because bandwidth is sometimes measured by bit rate. So when you test, what we normally look for is not the download speed, but the upload speed. Because the minimum you can be able to live stream with is 2 Mbps, but 2 Mbps, it's trouble. So we normally look for around 3, 4 upwards. Because at 2, your video will not be as sharp as you would want to. And again, there is a big issue here. So let me show you something here. So here we have internet speed. This is one of them. I normally use it. So this is how you test your internet speed to understand what you have. Okay? One of the words that you will always get is this Mbps. This Mbps will always be on your lips when you start live streaming. Because number one, the compression of your video is compressed via bitrate. Okay? The live streaming, you will have to go through these so that you can understand that what you are sending. If you don't understand, for example, if you start live streaming with 6 Mbps and your bandwidth, which is available for you to send, or rather the pipe. Let me use the word pipe. The pipe is 3 Mbps. Your video will have real problems. It will be freezing at a given time. And you will have a problem if you check, if for those who have, let's say, OBS and even YOLO box, you will have drop frames. Drop frames. In vMix, it will show you a different color, kind of orangish, telling you that your feed is not okay. And even YouTube will start cautioning you that we are not getting enough from your side. So the logic about bitrate is, first of all, ensuring that you have enough to transmit. And for example, if you go to a field and get, let's say, 4 Mbps, you always have to leave a room, a headroom. A headroom is an area whereby your video can be transmitted without an issue. Okay? So if you have, if for example, the upload speed is 4 Mbps, you cannot tell your encoder to transmit at 4. You will have a problem. It will start doing something called creeping. So at a given time, it will have to drop some frames, and you will have sometimes somebody talking and then talk, because at a given time, this transmission is vibrant and it is varying sometimes. So when it goes high, it will not have enough room to transmit your data. So let me show you something in vMix, and that's why I show you in OBS, plus we'll come to YOLO so that you can understand. If, for example, I want to stream, this is where I come. You can see always when you are streaming, you will find, number one, the URL. URL is the address to the platform. URL is the address to the platform. The stream key is it's like an identity of your particular content that you are sending, so that they don't mix up. Okay? You will always find it on your YouTube or Facebook. Okay? Without these two, you cannot send. Okay? You cannot send. So the stream key is more like a pin, a personal pin. Nobody has it. And it is for that particular content. That particular content. Okay? We will always get it from the platform. So you can see here, see these numbers here. Can you see that? If I change them, there are so many. You can see there is a 2.5 Mbps, and then AAC now. Okay? You can see here there is 3.5, 4.5, 6. If I find that an area has 4.5, I will ensure that I send below that, so that there is a headroom. Even YOLO has that. YOLO can be able to test the internet connection. When you test the internet connection, now you know. Actually, I normally test 3 to 4 times to understand what is the average speed that I'm getting. When I get the average speed, I will adjust my bitrate below that. The bitrate now is the data transfer speed. Okay? I hope the data transfer speed. So if you put it just enough of the bandwidth, or rather the size of the bandwidth that you have, you will have problems. Okay, so normally advise somebody, if you get 3, put it at 2. But at 2, the quality also is not that good. For some equipments, I don't want to say which one, but I know them. But in vMix, you will get a very good video. Even at 1.5, OBS 1.5, you will get a good video, but some you won't. Okay? So, bitrate. So, you have always to measure the speed of your internet. Now, another thing which is very important is the audio. Although audio goes together with your video, you have to remember that. But this one, normally, when you fix the bitrate for the video, the audio one is more fixed. It's not a big deal. Another very important thing is the resolution. I've had people call me that my mixer cannot pick my camera. Some video mixers have a uniform resolution within them. If you give it a full HD, you cannot give it a different one. You will have to configure your equipment to give the mixer the same resolution and frame rate. But what is the resolution and frame rate? Resolution is the quality of your picture. In newspapers and even TVs before, we used to use dots. The more dots you have, the sharper the picture. In TVs, we used to have lines, but they were standardized. In our format, which is PAL system, it used to be 625. If you connect to such equipments like Decklink, Kina Kapil knows Decklink, you will find that there is that particular setting, 625. Okay? In the US, it is 525. They are lines. They are dictating the resolution, the quality of the picture. In our today's world, we have pixel for photos, but for video, we have, these are still pixels, yes. 720 is pixel. But now the measure is this way. For full HD is 1920 by 1080. We have another one here. 720 is 1280 by 720. Okay? And many others you will find. There is even the 2.5K etc. But the strangest thing is this, that your laptop has different resolution, totally different. And sometimes they are not compatible with your mixer. So for you to be able to integrate the laptop and some of the mixers like Atem, you will need an equipment that I don't know whether you still have it. It is called the Black Magic have it. It's called, I think it's a down up scaler. Okay, we'll come to that. But so there is the resolution. Then there is something special here, frame rate. Grouper, when you call me for cable, whether it is 3G, I sometimes tell you the frame rate. The frame rate, a video is not composed of a continuous thing. They are pictures which are sent at a certain rate. Okay? In US and those world, their standard is 60 or 30 or 29.95. That is US. It is called NTSC. Our standard here is PAL, which is 50 and 25. Okay? So 25 is sometimes divided into two to be a half-half, 25-25. That is what we call 50i. So you'll find your full HD is 50i. 50i is equivalent to 25. Okay? 50p is 3G, the one that you normally ask me. 50p, 60p is 3G. Okay? Then we go all the way to 6G, 12G. Those ones you will not understand. I'm sorry. Those ones you will not understand right now. But that is what happens. So you have to be very careful with the frame rate also. Because Black Magic equipments, if you change the frame rate, if you have a 60, the camera is 60, and you send up, and there is another camera which is 50, they will not pick. So they have to have a uniform resolution, okay? Uniform resolution, uniform frame rate. But for AV Matrix, you don't have that problem. It has a scaler. If you connect your laptop, right now I've connected my laptop. If we connect that camera and it has different resolution and frame rate, they will work well. YOLO 2 doesn't have that. But it is always, every one of these equipments can work very well in different circumstances. So get that right. The frame rate is important. The bit rate is important for you to understand that. Okay? And all that. So this is what you get. So here, when I'm streaming, I'll choose one of these. You should remember this 720 here is the resolution. And normally it is represented by the last size. That is, if you have 1920 by 1080, 1080 is the one that will appear here. If you have 1280 by 720, 720 will appear here. If you have any other, you can see there is 480, 480p. There is what? These guys are very selfish. 480 is for US, not Kenya, not ours is 576. This 480 is US. It used to be 720 by 576, 720 by 480. Those are video resolution. Laptops or desktops, computers have a different resolution. Okay, although now they are coming to one. Are we getting each other? So, if I shut this one down and go to OBS, I'll get the same thing, but differently. And I just want to show you something there so that you understand. Always, when we are doing live streaming, we are talking about bit rates. Bit rates will always feature. This YOLO, right now, if you guys were to go there, when they are streaming, you will see a number which is 3,000 something. Somebody check for me and tell me what number there is. That is what tells us the healthy of my live stream. Okay? In YOLO, what YOLO does, if for example you had fixed 3,000, okay, bit rates, if you had fixed 3,000 bit rates, and you see it drop all the way to 1,000 something, there is a problem with that connectivity. But if it drops, if you had fixed 3,000 and it drops slightly 24 there, that is still healthy. What number do we have there? Kuna namba inakuanga hapo ya kuonyeshana ikistream. Now we come to, you will see that these things share, they are almost the same. What is the number you got? In a change, whichever, read me the last one you saw. So you can see, this is OB, okay, leave it. This output here, what I have dictated to the software is that it will be transmitting at a maximum of 2.5. 2.5 or 2,500 kilobytes per second. So when you convert it to megabits, it's 2.5. So this is the number I was telling you. You have to ensure it's not above or it's not equal with your bandwidth. After measuring your connectivity, this number. You can see something else here. If I come, this is output. Here, my resolutions. This is the resolution which I'm getting into my whatever using this gadget. This is the resolution I'm transmitting out. Okay? The higher, the better. Okay? Now, you can see what I was telling you about PAL and NTSC. Let me show you something here. There is, you can see 24 NTSC. You can see this 29 is NTSC. This is PAL. 50 is PAL. Can you see 50 PAL? You can see 59 and 60 are NTSC, the American standard. But now, because digital has brought us together, there is no big difference. You can shoot at 60, you can stream at 60, you can stream at 25, at 50, no big difference. But then, it was a big difference. So, to connect your camera, which is older, you will need a capture card. Capture card, the good thing with them, they have a situation whereby even if you connect them directly, they will not have a problem. You will connect and they will pick whatever you have given it. So most of them are scalable. The word scalable means it's from scale. That is, you connect it with 720, it will pick. You connect it with 1080, it will pick. You connect it with a lesser, it will still pick. But there will always be a classification of the resolution you can input. So it's more scalable. You can input anything, any frame rate, and it will work. Okay? So I don't think this one we have a lot to talk about. Well, some of the things that we have a lot to talk about is these ones. This mixers, like this one is capable of both live streaming and you can capture from a port called UVC. every one of the equipments, you can capture directly to your laptop, or you can stream it as a standalone. Okay? Stream it as standalone. But the good thing with ATEM, I want to highlight the good things, is that number one, you can be able to control this remotely. That is, you can connect it in another room. Kindly inform me about time. You can put it in another room, configure it, and even mix. People who are in the production. Every time you connect your cable here and disconnect, every time you connect and disconnect, it shortens the life of your equipment. Number two, it is part of the reason why cables have become like a river. You have to buy one today, tomorrow, that. So if, for example, you are in a setup which does not need to be, you set, you demolish, all that, I would rather you have it and place it somewhere and control it via laptop. That's a very wonderful thing. And even you can transfer some data into this laptop, into this mixer remotely. So you can place it somewhere and do everything with it. Okay? So that is where ATEM is somehow better in studios, or even in places where there is no big motion. ATEM. Okay? When we come to AV Matrix also is good, but it does not have the control. You cannot control it via your laptop. It does not have that control. For ATEM, another very important thing about it, every one of these ports come with both video and audio, and you can switch it just at, pressing one button here. Okay? That makes it a very great choice, because sometimes we have gone into places whereby the sound that we are getting here is not, probably, let's say we are in this room and they decided to have maybe a procession, and those people, they are generating some sound. You want that sound there. So what normally we do is just switch the port, the video that is coming, and it has the microphone. You just press and switch. It's that fast. But this one, it will take you some little bit of time to configure and get that sound. So that is the big difference. And each of them can be applied in different places. Okay? So understand that it has individual sound inputs for each of these ports. And they are so fast, you can switch them so fast. It's just a press of a button. There you have your sound. Let's say your camera, somebody is on the other side and he wants to talk. You don't need to do a lot of things. You just switch. And immediately it disables this other side. You get that? But for ATEM, when you give this port one resolution, every other must have the same and the same frame rate. It does not have a downscaler. So sometimes you will be called by people, oh, one of my camera, I can see one of my camera, but I cannot see the other. If it is ATEM, you have to tell them to change the resolution to match the other one. You get that? Have you ever had that problem? Yeah? Krupa says yes. You have, eh? That is the problem. Every time you are dealing with anything to do with black magic, that is the big issue about it. So anybody who calls you, oh, this is the problem, and they have two cameras, one is not being featured, the other one is being featured. The one, when you connect the first camera and you switch it on, ATEM automatically picks that resolution and frame rate. And any other must have a matching resolution and what? If the frame rate is different, you will not have the signal here. Are we getting that? But it is a very wonderful equipment because of the audio. Every one of these, the audio is here. And you can just switch them. Ta. Simple. And of course, it is a standalone live stream equipment. So carrying this, you only need a screen and your data, and you'll stream. And also you can input some static graphics here. Okay? That is the good thing about it. Now when we come to heavy matrix too has its places. For event people, this is actually good for events people. Because of number one, again, the size, it is almost, you see this one, if you have big pockets, and you walk. So if you have your DSLR or mirrorless, you'll connect and you are rich. Also, these ones are not that big, although they are slightly bigger. But again, heavy matrix is very good because of what I told you before, scaling. Heavy matrix has the capacity to scale down or scale up. If, for example, the first camera you gave it is 1080, 50i, or 1080, 50p, and now you have a laptop. Right now, the kind of display I'm displaying on this is around 13 something. But you see, it's already on heavy matrix. If I was to bring that feed here, I will still have it. So it has a capacity to up or down scale, which is very good with people who do events. Because when you go to events, what happens is that you have already brought in your cameras. But somebody who has presentation comes with their laptops. Probably it's old. And when it is old, it is producing something, a resolution, which is not there in video. You will only connect it and still get your videos from your cameras and get the laptop. So it is so wonderful for that. So it's very good for events, but also it's applicable even in this studio environment. You get that? So that is it. There is something about, we have YOLO. YOLO became like a savior to some of us who are doing outdoor events and events which need a lot of movement. One time I went into an event and then there were not so many equipments. I had cables running from somewhere. So one of the ladies came and asked, don't you have something which doesn't use these cables? Because cables are a real problem and sometimes they are hazardous. And when you add on top the Kenya Power, you have a deep problem. Because the Kenya Power, if you go out of Nairobi, will go off anytime. Okay? Kindly wave me when my time is over. You see that? So YOLO became a savior because it has an internal battery. Okay? It has an internal battery. Number two, the connections, the inputs are, again, scalable. YOLO does not have a uniform resolution. That is, if you are giving it 13 something and here you are giving it 1920, it will still pick. That is another wonderful thing. Okay? And number three, the fact that you don't need an extra manpower. For a mixer like this one, you will need an extra manpower to man this. Somebody will have to sit there to man it. This one, you just place it on your camera and live stream. Okay? So, those are some of the general advantages of each one of them. This one, you don't need power. This one, you can move all over with almost 3 cameras coming in. That is, I can move close the road and I'm still having my camera when I have this. If all my cameras are connected to wireless, I can walk the other side and still have my production house on my tripod. So that is what YOLO did. Your production house is one and it is on a tripod. And you have more than 3 cameras, you have video playbacks, you have graphics, you have everything. And you are going on. You don't need power. Okay? For us, we have improvised. We have power banks. So you connect it to power bank and go the whole 24 hours, no big problem. But if you have a mixer, if power goes off, you are disadvantaged in a way. But I'm not saying each of these solutions is good. It's good for many different setups. YOLO is very good for movements, but you cannot carry these around. You need to settle where there is power, where there is power connection for this one, and even AV matrix. Okay, this one has a battery which lasts for, I think it's around 4 hours, but we have never fully tested because of fear that it will go off. So normally when it reaches 30%, we connect our power bank so fast. Okay, so those are some of the nini. So because of time, let me bring out the big boy in the house, which again, what I'm saying, you cannot discredit each of these equipment simply because it cannot do that or it is not like that. Each of them have their place. We have the attempt production. Attempt production is very, very good for big house productions. Very good. Number two, the wonderful thing about it is that when you set it, you can set it in a server room or another room. If it can be even on the other side, and you can control it here. Control, that is switching, configure, okay? And it may take you even several years before you interact with it. That is something very wonderful when it comes to production. Because cables, these cables you see, destruction of cables is when you interact with cables. Every time you disconnect, you reconnect, you disconnect, reconnect, put off power, put on power. That is where things go wrong. So the setup for each of them is special, and with special cases and different places. So every time you see them, don't first of all say, oh, this one, you need this one. Understand what is the need. So what did we say? Number one, YOLO is very good on motion and movement. Very wonderful. Okay? For events that are outdoors, you want to run, maybe so-and-so has come, you want to go there, and all your cameras are there. YOLO is wonderful because it's a production on a tripod. Okay? These ones, you have to settle somewhere, connect with power. But again, their quality is on another side. And the application is different. So, lastly, I hope I have not exhausted my time. I never got a timekeeper, so I will go on. You okay? Lastly, every time you receive some of these equipments, there is something. Today, there is something called, there is this port. Normally, they call it USB-C. Now, I can connect my laptop and get the video via USB. But nowadays, they are calling it, for example, this Holy Run Pro has a port called, they are calling it UVC. Yeah. UVC is the same as USB-C output. So whenever you find an equipment, first of all check. If you find a UVC, it's an output, a USB output. And that is an added advantage. The cameras that you have, almost every one of them is coming out with a UVC because it's the way forward. You see, nowadays you don't want to be streaming only with a phone. And the phone has its own limitations. Okay? You want a camera that you fix a good shot, good frame rate and everything, and input it either in your laptop or even in your YOLO. Because that is what all these cameras, these new cameras are coming with that port, UVC. This one has a UVC, meaning that I can bring the video into my receiver and connect directly to my laptop, and I'm rich. So get the advantage of each of them and understand that the application will differ from a person to person. I have a friend of mine. Today is more of general. Next time we'll be going into detail of each. I have a friend of mine who prefers to input his video via a capture card into YOLO. And he says it looks so good. So everybody has special expectation, special needs, okay, and a different view of everything. So when you have a UVC in an equipment, understand it as it is a special spec on your equipment that may give you an edge. Okay? Are we happy? Another important special thing about, let me talk about this one as we close. This We have 4 of these. But one of the wonderful thing about one of them, I have worked with several wireless connections. And one of the most wonderful thing about wireless connection, it dropped cables. Cables were a real big problem. One time I connected in an event, and one of the big person came and said, we don't want these cables. They are hazardous. Because they foresaw somebody may trip and fall and sue them. Okay? So we started using this, and it's a wonderful solution. But each of them has, again, a special application. I like each of them because they have they solve different problems. Like when you talk of this one has a UVC, but also goes further. Goes around, I think, it's 1,300 feet. 1,300 feet, when you divide by 4, it's around 400 or 350 meters. That's a very, very, very long distance. Number 2, for them to work, this one has a dual band. We call it dual band, whereby it is capable of receiving your video even in some difficult situations. Especially when you have a thick wall, this one can be able to penetrate. These ones may have an issue because it's only one band receiving the video. Okay? So each one of them has its use, and it has a special place where you can use it, and some cannot be used. Okay? And because of our time, let me just finish with something here, and we say thank you. Sindio? So what I told you, okay, can you see this resolution? There is something called aspect ratio. What she has done here, the aspect ratio here is 9:16. But this one here is 16:9. I'm saying aspect ratio is this length versus this length. Okay, this length, this is the one they are calling 9. This is the one they are calling 16. Okay, and you will have different aspect ratios. Like a photograph will have 2:3 aspect ratio. Okay, the bigger one of this number is, the longer one side will be. So this type of aspect ratio where the phone is standing like this is called 9:16. So every time before you go to stream, you have to think, what do I want? Where do I want it to go? How do I want to serve it? Okay? So I think our time is over, and I hope that general talk will now launch us to talk deeply about everything. But all I want you to remember, the issue of resolution, Krupa, you have been calling me, that is what has been troubling you, resolution and frame rate. When you talk of 3G, you are talking about the transfer rate of a cable. 60 is very high. We are talking about 3G, and that cable is around 2.4. So at a certain distance, there will be very heavy losses, it will not work. The same with your ATEM Mini. If anybody calls you, oh, I have connected my laptop, I've connected my camera, my laptop is working, my camera is working. Resolution and frame rate must match. Okay? You get that? Number 3, the issue of live streaming, you should always remember the upload speed. If somebody tells you your equipment, oh, I bought your equipment and it's dropping, it's not connecting, normally the issue will come to one thing. You will find that probably he put up bit rate, which is higher than the available bandwidth. That will cause a lot of problem for this person. So what normally happens in this OBS, although it is none of, but it's good you understand, here it will start registering something called dropped frames. Dropped frames. YOLO also registers dropped frames. Dropped frames means the stream of data coming in is not being processed at the same speed as it is coming. So what happens is that the processor decides to pick the new thing that has come. And whatever was there and had not been processed, it's dropped. So you have a video freeze, jack, all those things. You get that? Any question? Yes?
David is asking, are there any challenges with the wireless transmitters? Do they have blown up?
If there is a problem, okay, what you need to understand the wireless connection is, of course, these things do not escape from the same definition of frequency connection and bit rate. At certain distance, the connectivity is poor, so it will drop or it will destroy some data. That's why sometimes you get some smudge when the transmitter has been hindered or cannot be on site. So you will sometimes find some funny images. That is a form of dropping of data. Okay? So it drops, but it does not drop the same way as a live stream drops. What it does, it smudges the picture. You might find a smudged picture. That means the connectivity is poor. The data the receiver is receiving is not enough to form a picture, because it has to have all the data in so that it can create a good picture. If the data is lost in the transmission process, you are done. Either it will lose connectivity or it will maintain connectivity but have a smudged picture. That is a drop of data. Okay? Hope he's satisfied with that. Any other question? Online and anyone who is here physically? That's all. Okay, so I think that's all for today. This was a general talk, but next time we'll ensure that we go into individual issues and definition so that at least you can understand every one of those. So I hope I was not talking to myself because there are those moments you talk and everybody is thinking of the breakfasts or the lunchtime or whatever. So that's all for today. I wish you all the best, and I hope have been of help. Next time we shall see their cameras which are coming with live stream. That is a wonderful solution because now you don't need gadgets to connect. One of the challenges I've seen in events is having extra gadgets hanging around you. Okay? When they hang around you, that is a big problem. Because if somebody is running away from something, the first thing he will knock out is what is loose. And sometimes you lose those things. But now we have even cameras which can live stream directly. That's a wonderful news. That's great. Because I don't need a lot of gadgets. Look somehow funny, like an ad. I can stream directly and feel happy. And there are other connections. So next time we shall deal with most of those things and go individually into one of each. Thank you very much.
Okay, so yeah, I hope everyone watching and everyone here at the shop, you've learned a thing or two regarding live streaming. But yeah, if you have further questions or inquiries regarding the same, just slide into our DMs. And if it's something we can assist you, then we will do so. If it's something that needs our tech advice or expertise, we'll sure forward the question. And yeah, a gentle reminder, if you are watching and you're a Canon user, please note tomorrow we'll be having a free check and clean for only Canon users. You can bring your Canon camera, your lenses, just for general checkup and servicing. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to Mr. Sam for being here today. Nina hope mumelan kitu. Na kama hujalan, ingia pale inbox, tutashare kenye tumelan. Sio. And yeah, thank you for watching. Until next Thursday. Same host, same time, different guests. Adios.
Okay.
Bye.
Any comments from you? Because now you're offline, Cindy. Go.